Hello, I'm going to give the presentation in English because I'm from Brazil and my Spanish is not that good. I'll try to speak slowly so that we can all understand what I'm going to try to explain.
Ok, entonces como as Jose was talking about, so I am the Senior Value Stream Manager, so I'm responsible for a Value Stream Manager and in CINT. And I have been working with quality automation and continuous improvement for big consulting companies at least for 16 years. And now at the CINT, we are focusing on digital transformation using hardcore lean principles into a complete agile context. And tests and more recently automation have been a great source of joy, and be able to help teams and companies into this journey is one of the things that most motivates me. So, but what is digital transformation? So digital transformation is the adoption of digital technology in order to transform the services or business for replacing what would be manual process. So this is one definition that I found in Wikipedia. And actually, so what we need to embark in the journey to digital transformation. So we just need to start to migrating and creating services for the digital world. Pretty easy, huh? And so what is, but we talk about digital transformation, and always when we talk about digital transformation, we talk about automation as well. So what is our automation? According to Wikipedia, is any technology that where a process or a procedure is performed with minimal human assistance. So automation actually can be anything. For example, escalator. So the escalator is actually an automation of the stairs. So anything can be said as an automation. A password reset, filling out a form automatically, test automation, environment provision, anything can be told as automation as soon as we get the manual process and we do this without minimal human assistance. Okay. Many people think that automation is a threat. So automation will replace jobs, will take out people. And we could say this is partially true because some jobs will be removed, but they will be replaced with other types of jobs with more value add. So for example, we have the guy that stays the whole day just typing invoices into the ERP. This kind of work can be removed with automation, but it will be replaced with the analysis or the payment of the invoice, something with more value add that only human can do. And how they correlate the automation and the digital transformation. The automation is one of the biggest enablers for digital transformation. So when we talk about digital transformation, we usually talk about automation in some point or at some extent. If we think about the state of DevOps to 2019, this is one of the most important studies that we have about DevOps. It says that the elite performers, they adopt up to 50% more automation than low performers. And if you can see here, what you see is that it's not only the end-to-end automation testing. This is something that I really like to emphasize, because usually when we talk about automation, they always think about end-to-end test automation, and we need to automate everything. No, we need to start. So if you look at here, we have 92% of the elite performers that do the automation build. We have 87% that does automated unit tests, and only we have for end-to-end acceptance test 58%. So automation is a journey when we talk about technical automation and non-technical as well, and it's really important we start to think as this. So what types of automation we have? We can split those automations into non-technical and technical automation. So the non-technical would be the RPA, robotic process automation, robotic desktop automation, workflow automation, intelligent automation. And when we talk about the technical automation, is the data automation, any infrastructure automation, such as automated build, provision, deployment to environments, and of course, test automation, unit test, component test, layout test, IT operations, etc., etc. And so, for example, the escalator that I mentioned earlier, it would be a mechanical automation. So we have all types of automation. And what would be the tips that we have to start your journey? So first of all, start small. Consider the smallest automation, the easiest one with the biggest impact, the quick wins to start your journey. Consider incremental deliveries. Showcase the value for the automation to gain momentum for this initiative and even to fund this initiative forward. Focus your efforts. Instead of starting the initiative with all areas possible, start small and focus. Choose one area, one application, one technical process. To start with, plan your journey. Start, assess, and correct if necessary. Consider 2 to 4 weeks for each sprint and proceed delivering something valuable each sprint, incrementing until you have one application area with considered automation, and also consider automations that can be reused in other areas and groups. The return over investment. Be aware that any initiative needs to consider what is the return over this investment. So when choosing the automation, consider how many times you will run this automation, how stable is the process or the application that is being automated. More times you run this automation, more it will pay off. So consider the cost for maintainability as well, license if applicable, development cost versus how many times it will be run, efficiency. The gain can be even immaterial, such as company brand, executive decisions, but all of this must be explicit to do the business case. The tool. You will consider only the free options, open source. Do you have a budget for it? Do you have a benchmark for this tool? Does it have support? The training. If you are not the person that is going to implement it, the skill for this tool is readily available. Can you do a POC for the tool to be sure it is compatible with your technical environment? How is the learning curve for this tool? What is the security requirements for the tool? It matches your company. Plan. Plan, plan, plan. Establish the timeline. Prioritize the automations. Treat it as a project. Use the product backlog. Have a technical PO to understand the backlog. Consider skills for the team, schedule, effort, and track the progress. Report progress for the area involved and the executives as well, so you start to gain momentum as it goes. Reusable. Make the automation reusable. Don't hard code parameters for data. More people using your automation, more it will pay off. Advertise the automation for the whole company and have it ready to be implemented in other areas. Have a single repository for our automation to share with others and create an automation community. Resilient. For most processes, the screen-related objects change, either location, ID, so the process as well. So consider collecting more than one parameter to have the automation as resilient as possible. If one parameter fails, the other can be used. If extra parameters fail, also plan to have a good error treatment clear. If a robot fails, plan to have a warner sent so the bug can begin. Scalable. Consider tools, automation, and planning for scalability. Can this initiative be used throughout the whole company? Can the tool be used by everyone? Can you run with this tool 20, 50, 5,000 automations at a time? Do you have a good control, command center to control your automations? What is the performance of the tool? So these are the most important tips so you can start your journey to start your plan. And where to start? When we talk about non-technical automation, we can start the easiest one. For example, fill out forms, copy and paste, so you get some data from the spreadsheet and put into the ERP or something like this. A simple workflow and with clear and defined rules. So first of all, if you have a complex process, you need to clean your process, use Lean to clean your process, remove any waste, standardize your process, and then you can start to automate this. If you have a process that is a chaos and you automate it, what you have is a quick chaos, nothing more than this. So, and we can use several tools. We have free tools such as AutoIT, Selenium. We have desktop automation tools, which is attended automation. Attended automation are automations that the human needs to interact with. So, for example, in automation, automotive, and the RPA, which is an attended automation, blueprints, automation anywhere, UiPath, etc. So when we talk about the business case for non-technical automations, what we do, we get the time spent for this process, the hours, how many times it runs per period, and then we'll have the total time spent. And then what we'll do is to get this, the total time spent plus hours, and multiply by the cost per hour for the person that is running this process. And then you have the total process cost per period. This is one information very important. And then what you get for the automation, you get the license cost for this automation and development cost. And then you have the total automation cost. So you start to do the math in terms of how is every hour for the process that it costs and the total automation cost. And then you have a very nice idea of when will be the break even for this process. And then when we start to making money, to understand if this process is worthwhile to be automated or not. When we talk about the technical automation, this is a journey. So we need to start small and with things that will matter the most. For example, unit test automation, the component test automation, static code analysis such as SonarQube, etc. So you need to start planning about the test parameters and starting doing this, doing the build automation as well, a data creation automation, and only after in the end, when you have a stable automation, the test parameter, okay, working, you go to the regression test automation, layout testing automation, etc. The business case for technical automation is the same that we have heard before. As soon as you find, the earlier you find your defect, it will cost less. It's cheaper to fix it. So the quicker you have the feedback, the quicker you have. Building a roadmap, you need to prioritize your automation. You need to establish the timeline. You need to do incremental implementations and an iterative approach. Track progress and continue measuring how that goes. So, for example, we start understanding your reality in terms of technology, environment, maturity, background. Then in the second, you go to prioritize your automation, impact versus feasibility, the quick wins. Select the tool, focus your effort, and then you start to implement. So this is what I have for this. And don't forget, ideas are precious, but execution is everything. Thank you very much.